Super typhoon causes devastation in South Korea, massive floods and destruction. Super Typhoon Khanun wreaked havoc in South Korea, leading to a catastrophic flood that surged near Seoul. As Typhoon Cannon relentlessly battered the country, it brought about widespread flooding, leaving one person dead and plunging 40,000 households into darkness on Thursday. These events added to the toll of an unusually wet and deadly storm season in the region. The storm's northward trajectory over the Korean Peninsula resulted in flooded highways, numerous flight cancellations, and the evacuation of approximately 14,000 people just a day earlier. Before hitting South Korea, Typhoon Cannon had already poured up to 23 inches of rain onto Kyushu, the southernmost of Japan's main islands, causing injuries to at least 14 individuals by Thursday evening. Upon making landfall on Jeoj Island off the southeastern coast at 9 a.m., the typhoon brought up to 15 inches of rain to parts of South Korea. Meteorologists predicted that the storm's eye was likely to pass over the Seoul area, home to over half of South Korea's population, around 9 p.m. before moving into North Korea. Overnight, heavy downpours were expected to persist in Seoul through Friday night. Tragedy struck in Daegu, a city in South Korea's southeast, where a man lost his life in floodwaters. Notably, Daegu, housing about 2.4 million residents, experienced the passage of the storm's center, marked by the most intense winds, during Thursday afternoon. As of Thursday evening, Typhoon Cannon was advancing north at a speed of about 12 miles per hour. South Korean meteorologists cautioned that the storm's relatively sluggish pace would lead to substantial rainfall. Parts of South Korea were projected to receive approximately 20 inches of rain on Thursday, prompting officials to issue warnings about the risk of landslides and widespread flooding. By Thursday evening, Cannon had sustained winds of 46 meters per second, with gusts reaching 58 meters per second. On the wind scale employed by American meteorologists to measure hurricanes, Cannon would fall into the tropical storm category. The storm was anticipated to continue weakening as it traversed over land. Meanwhile, another tropical cyclone, Typhoon Land, was making its way towards the region from the Pacific Ocean. This typhoon, located about 740 miles southeast of Japan on Thursday, was expected to approach Japan's main island, Honshu, the following week. The current winds of 81 meters per second were projected to intensify to 104 meters per second over the weekend, as reported by the Typhoon Warning Center. South Korea had already experienced a harsh monsoon season, resulting in tragic outcomes. In the preceding month, nearly 47 people lost their lives, and 35 others sustained injuries due to 3 weeks of exceedingly heavy rainfall. Among the casualties, 14 individuals were trapped in a flooded highway underpass. Other East Asian countries also faced a perilous rainy season. In Japan, 6 people perished in Kyushu due to what officials termed the heaviest rainfall ever recorded in the area. Prior to reaching South Korea, Typhoon Doctorate had caused 33 casualties in Beijing. Similarly, Typhoon Cannon left at least 2 people dead, injured 100 others, and left thousands of households without power in Okinawa, Japan. Initially moving northwest toward China, the typhoon's course altered over the weekend as it zigzagged over Japan's southern islands before veering northwards. Both Japan and South Korea issued landslide, flood warnings, and evacuation orders as the typhoon approached. In South Korea, tens of thousands of teenagers attending the 25th World Scout Jamboree were forced to evacuate due to the impending storm. Typhoon Cannon's slow speed became a defining characteristic. Although averaging around 20 kilometers per hour, the typhoon lingered over Busan, subjecting the region to its effects for an extended period. Positioned to the right of the typhoon's radius, Busan experienced a combination of the typhoon's forces and westerly winds. Despite concerns about potential damage from strong winds, the overall impact of the typhoon was mitigated, and human harm was minimized. In preparation for the typhoon's aftermath, more than 15,000 residents were evacuated to temporary shelters across the country. Among the regions affected, Gyeongbuk reported the highest number of evacuees at 9,800, followed by Gyeongnam with 2,900 and Gyeonam with 970. The typhoon also caused significant damage to facilities, including 33 houses, 16 shops, and 2 fishing boats that were submerged or damaged. Additionally, approximately 180 public structures, such as roads, embankments, and bridges, sustained varying degrees of damage. The agricultural sector was not spared. Over 1,000 hectares of farmland across the nation were submerged or damaged. Approximately 20 hectares of agricultural land were lost, while 7,000 square meters of greenhouses suffered damage. Furthermore, an estimated 40,000 households experienced power outages due to the typhoon. While Typhoon Cannon's impact was substantial, its slow speed allowed for preparation and response measures to mitigate damage and casualties. South Korea's disaster management authorities took proactive steps, issuing crisis alerts and coordinating emergency actions well in advance. The disaster broadcaster KBS provided continuous typhoon information, enhancing the coordination of response efforts. Despite the challenges posed by Typhoon Cannon, South Korea's proactive measures, coordination, and preparation played a crucial role in minimizing its impact on human life and infrastructure.